Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in our beautiful city of Second City. And I will say, before we do anything, I noticed in between parts that we've got an alert over here. This guy, no vehicles. No vehicles to the purple line, which, with this orange symbol, we can tell is one of our subways. So that means our depot does not have enough vehicles. So let's skirt back over here. If we click on this, we can see we have 10 vehicles and all 10 are in use. To add this upgrade though, we're going to run into, you know what? We're really just running into Amity Lane. Hold on. If I removed Amity Lane, could I? I could place this. Now I would have to anarchy because of that set of track there. But if I'm placing it because that track, which is not actually touching this, is having an issue, but the thing itself is not having an issue, I'm fine with that. Let's also, while we're here, again, apparently like this is in the way of that. I just don't understand where they get off. It's not in the way of anything. But let's go ahead and do this. And we're just going to quickly, before we get too far along into everything else we've got going on for the day, we're going to get this all set up. Now, unfortunately, you can't go level crossing with these types of roads. The subway tracks. They do not level. So we either have to go above or underneath. I'm thinking what I could get into is, I want to try to keep this somewhat quick, but if we were to go like this, and we were to go like this, right? Then we upgrade this section of road into a bridge. And we remove those extra sections. Then what we could do is potentially take this here. Let's just connect to our existing geometry and angles. We're going to place a little track here that goes straight. And then we're going to turn. We're going to curve. And I don't necessarily think it has to be 10 deep. 7.5 may be enough. I think it is. We'll go straight on through. And then what we're going to try to do is just connect right up into here. Like right there's that connection point, but it gets a little murky. So alternatively, we could, I think what's here is this pillar. Yeah, I'm not concerned about the pillar. I think what I'd rather do is send this along the side here with anarchy on. Kind of have it join into its friends and neighbors here. We'll then get a little bit of a curve. Where would this fit nicely? Or actually, hold on. Can I just do it one way? Well, no, I want it to go both ways. Ooh. This is getting challenging. Trying to connect all of these different pieces of track into here is not easy. I mean, all of this here is a bridge section. So could I just connect up like this? Anarchy is off right now. And like technically this here works. So I'm going to ignore the issue that we're having because that issue is just being caused by the overpass, but not actually being caused by the subway. Now, unfortunately, it does mean that a ton of this greenery is in the way. But I think if we just grab trees, we grab a brush, increase that to close to 100, reduce this size down a bit, we can go ahead and just start deleting the trees that are in the way here. All around that looks okay. It does add some strangeness to this section. Let's see. If I grabbed both of these and just put them up a little bit, just one, which kind of lightly froze the game. Whoopsie. That seems to fix it. Now, bear with me. I got to remove all these trees that are now just in the way. Okay. All the trees have been removed. Fantastic. Let's move this back up to ground level. Connect that right up and in. And then this one here, we're just going to connect just like this. Call it a day. Anarchy is not on, but why it's not deleting the shrubs, I'm not entirely sure. But now we have 15 vehicles, and we can do a little bit better job using this. Now, I recognize this is all a hill, right? And we're just carving into this hill over and over. What we're going to do is for now, I'm just going to smooth this all out up to where our track is. Eventually, though, we are going to have to come up with a different solution. This is not going to work forever. This is all going to probably be developed either with trees and just become like a really large forest of some kind, or it's going to be more sprawl. I haven't really thought that far yet. But what I want to do, now that we've solved that minor issue, is I had 4 comments, and I want to address all 4 of these. So the first one is from Melvin. He said that we need to expand this train that we have over here in Town of Sunset to the Hamilton Isle. And he's correct. I actually did build a train line or a train station already for this. So this is an easy one. This was a fix that I just kind of forgot I had already somewhat implemented for us. To not mess up these people, I'm just going to pause real quickly. We're going to move this train over to here. And I recognize this means that the cargo line and the passenger line are going to basically share this long section here at the same time. However, one direction is to go towards everything and one direction is to go out. So I'm hoping it's not a big deal. We're going to see what happens here with time. It might become an issue. If it does, we'll adjust accordingly. Then Superhero 00007 also recommended that we have a shuttle bus that goes from our Town of Sunset just directly over into the downtown. And I thought about this, and I don't think I would like to expand the town's bus, only because I think having this just dedicated to the town is valuable. So we are going to build just an extra stop here. They're going to drive on in, and I'm thinking I will have a bus stop over here by our train, and then we'll have another bus stop over here kind of by the larger factory. Now, it doesn't give me any solution here for our nuclear power plant, but I have a plan for this. Then what we're going to do, let's just go ahead and give it like a nice like gray color maybe. That's actually kind of fire. We'll start here. We'll head over to here. And we're just going to come down into here off of our highway. The first real stop we could easily connect to would be right here. And then we're just going to turn right back around and go right back. That's it. The end. There's no other option there. Now I am going to do another set of bus stops the opposite direction. So this bus is going this way. I'll then want a bus that comes down here. It could stop right here. It would then turn this corner. I think it would then just stop. It would not stop all the way down there. This bus would then turn the corner right here, come this direction. It would stop right here and come this direction. Stop here, come up here, and then stop right in front of the train line right there. This is just going to be a secondary bus. Make that kind of the correct color blue here. And it's just going to go from train station slightly over here, down around the main heart of the downtown. They may be a little close. It's okay. It's a shorter bus, just gives us the opposite direction as well. Tofi said I need a park maintenance building, which I don't know where. I don't think the town here needs it just yet, but maybe what we do is we get a park maintenance building and we use that as one of our buildings over here in this part of town. We could easily place one right there. Looks somewhat nice. I don't hate it. I am not really a fan of either of these. I would rather we set these up a little bit differently. This whole section will be industrial. I'm just going to let it self-zone. I don't need to control all of that. This section here will also be industrial, but what I want to do is force it all along this road. So it's all facing out. And then right down here, we're going to lick a low density. Why don't we go ahead and just do Southwest USA low density business and just see what we get. So that's going to fill in this little area. With this park maintenance building, though, we also have an extra garage, which allows for more vehicles. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Can I get this to attach to the backside here without destroying anything? Oh, I can. And I will. And then what's this button? Supply storage. What do you do? This increased availability of supplies allows the maintenance vehicles to work for longer. Do it. So we're going to have this large park maintenance building here. Then I also think, because that was mentioned, I'm now realizing maybe it would make sense to also have like a vehicle maintenance building somewhere around here as well, and that this could be valuable. So I'm thinking maybe, what if this was along like this main road here? Just like so. Kind of across the street from this switch factory. It does have one expansion, which is an extra garage. Provides more space for a larger fleet of road maintenance vehicles. So I could get into having that. And then what I wonder is if we zoom out and we just look, we want to see, where is our bus stations? They look like this. It's called a bus depot. I know we have a few. I think, if I recall, they're pretty full. 31 of 35. I don't know why you don't already have electricity added, but I'm going to give that to you. And then where's our other bus depots? Let's see. Bear with me. We have one here. 20 of 35, which already has an extra. Okay, so we actually have more than enough busing. I'm not going to have to add another bus depot here. All right, so that covers 3 of the 4 comments. Now the big one, before we even get into some of the things I was planning to do today. Tiago recommended that I rework the train track somewhat so that it goes down the center of the highway. Future Wheaty here. So Tiago, thank you for the suggestion. I try this and then I just get kind of frustrated with trying to build it and I give up. So this doesn't actually happen. But members, if you want to see me attempt to make this work, you can check over for the unedited version of the video, which I'm going to upload shortly after this video goes live. But let's just pivot and build something different. Okay, so now that we've got better connectivity here for Town of Sunset. And I will say, I do want to shout out a suggestion by Tiago. He had recommended I move the train line in between the highway. And I love that as a concept. I have no desire to rebuild this train line and move it in between the highway. So that's just not going to happen. Not because it's not a good idea, but because I am too lazy to do so. So that's on me, really. Now, one thing I am going to do is I would like to take this road and I'm going to send this road up along the side of our highway. This is going to serve as an extra way to get people in and out of our town up here in case for some reason there's a closure of the roads or they're not able to use the highway. So let me just try to raise this up. I want this to be pretty close to flat. See, this is where you get weirdness. See how it's doing some weird stuff? Let's do this. Let's go to regular curve. Let's just leave it off like this. And we're just going to start to move it. There we go. It's a little bit easier. All right. We're going to start to move it up and along the side of our highway. I'm going to bring it maybe out this far. And we'll curve to here. It's going to be a bit of a windy road. And that's okay. The idea of this is that it's just this backup road in case you can't use the highway. Doesn't need to look perfect or any kind of way. Let's bring this over to here. And this is going to connect right up and into here. So now we have another means to get in and out of the town. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I do think I would want to have a little bit more housing here. Maybe the town of Sunset decided to grow a little bit. So we'll place a little bit of zoning, maybe right along here and along here. Because of that, I am also going to put in just a few walls to protect the townspeople, at least along that side. Maybe we'll do one more. Okay. And now real quick, I'm just going to go through and I want to put some trees along both sides of this highway just to kind of box it in a bit and hide it from view. I don't necessarily want to see this highway at all times. So let's go ahead and start boxing this in a little bit. Actually, before we box it in, let's make one change. I'm going to remove this avenue or this highway connection entirely. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to connect from here to here and we're going to slope this. Here's my thinking. Let's move this highway exit over to here. Keep it down on the ground. Oh, actually, I probably need to turn this into a bridge first. There we go. But now we can keep this down on the ground. We can connect from here over to here and send it straight on through. Upgrade this into a 2-lane road, and we can just kind of simplify this whole thing. Turn this here, just like this, and connect it straight on in. I know it means it pushes that back much further, but I think it's just a little bit nicer. Send out this road right here. Send out another one right here. Don't worry, they're both going to be deleted in a second. Let's go ahead and upgrade this section. Let's downgrade this section. Let's remove both of these roads there. Let's also remove this from being a raised section of road. All the way down to here. And this as well. Remove that raised section. If anything, this could be raised right here as it is finding its way into this road. Or it could just be an elevated section, which removes the supports, which I don't love, but that's okay. What I want to do is actually kind of soften some of this a little bit and reclaim some of like the natural way that this looked before I got in here and made all these changes. Now that the locomotive stuff is gone, let's start to smooth it out. We can then come back and make some changes afterwards, especially once we figure out what's happening over here. But for now, let's turn this back into a bit more of a natural section and get rid of all of these bridges and all of this extra support. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I am going to just quickly turn on anarchy. And we are going to delete these roads here only because if I don't delete them, I can't change those supports. Now we'll grab this. We'll keep anarchy on. We're going to use the curve tool. We're going to go from here. Turn off snap to ground. Let's make sure I'm actually grabbing the right piece here. How much is that? Negative 5.5. It's even just a better connection all around. Look at that. Ignore that hump. Just ignore the hump. I could easily solve that if I brought that back. I'm just not going to do that. So we're going to ignore the hump. All right, but now we have a new kind of bridged area here with a nice rolling hill there. I don't exactly know what's going to go there yet. We'll figure that out later. We've got a lot of traffic moving its way here into the city. Tons of cars coming in to help support the cleanup efforts of our roads, which we like to see. Now what I want to do is I want to continue kind of building out the town of Sunset a little bit. And what I mean by that is I think we're getting to the point where these farms need to move. They're no longer serving us here. The city's expanding, and this area is really some prime real estate. So I think I need to take these farms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 farms. Some of them are level 1 still. Some are level 2. Some are level 2. There's a few level 5s, but not many. Like, I'm not pressed about keeping these. We have 4 of each. I think what's going to happen is we're going to turn this rolling hillside into kind of our new area. Both sections of this map are going to have some farms. Let's also go ahead and buy these 4 tiles. I know we're spending so much money on tiles, but we're getting to the place where it's not really expensive anymore. So, like, why not? We could connect a highway over here, but because this area is still pretty new, I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to take a road, and we're just going to do a bridge right over top. 2-lane wooden covered bridge. Nothing crazy. Nothing even, frankly, that fancy. If I brought it from here to here, what happens? Elevation too low. But I could bring it to here at the 90, and then we switch over to a regular bridge, or the regular road, and send this straight on out here. Bam. Now I'm going to do maybe a little curve here because the land starts to change. Do a little curve here. Send it out straight to there for the moment. Now we have, what did we decide? I think 16 total fields that we need to build anew and get access to over here. I think there would be maybe another bridge or another road going underneath this road here that we could then get rid of the roundabout and just connect right up and into here. Give that a nice little curve. That way we're underneath the train. We're not interrupting the train. There's nothing wrong there. And I think we could consider doing another one of these bridges. And I really do enjoy these 2-lane wooden covered bridges. Let's just go up 10 and cross over this highway like this. Why does the game let me build a bridge that it then's like, actually, you can't do that? Like, explain to me how that's allowed. There we go. Give me my angle. Bam. Let's do the same thing here. Bam. This is just going to come out straight, kind of following the contour of the land. But now we've got a bridge connecting here, bridge going here. We could even consider doing some more work here, but I think what I'd rather do instead is go from here and begin to curve this underneath of this road here. This will continue out slightly straight. And then I'm going to curve along kind of this main contour line. I will also, though, take another road that will come up this hillside and connect straight along behind the train tracks. There we go. Do these connect up? I think they do. We'll get there in a moment. Let's go ahead and start looking at placing down some of these farms. So I'm going to go back to our zonable land. We're going to go to specialized industry. I do need to consider where we're going to have the fertile land. I think on this side is where we're going to have our fertile land. So actually, before I can even place any of this, I keep kind of getting this all out of order here. I need to paint fertile land onto this section of the map. We're just going to paint all along here, pushing these farmlands back. Technically, this is more of a forest, which we never really leaned into, and we still have time to do that. But I think I want the farms out of the way because I would like to consider maybe building out like an airport at some point and some other exciting things, which I can't really do if I'm only doing the same, stuck with like the section I have. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to bring this down, bring it over to here, bring it straight up. I want it to be forced to be a perfect square, which I can do that. I'll save 90 and 90. Okay. Then what we can do with this is I can place a road kind of right along the side here. We're just going to use a dirt road. Connect up and around, right? I'll place trees along those edges. Now, that's one. This right here will be number 2. This one we'll place along the side of our road as much as we can. Then we'll place it going kind of out at the 90 there, up to here. Send this to here. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and do another one of these roads. We're just going to come straight on out to here. And bring this one just straight on out to here. Can we just... Bam. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. I think right here we can maybe do another road here. Relatively flat section. So we could easily get away with 2 of these. If I placed one right here. Along here. We follow along this back edge. I was going to say we separate from the roadside, but I actually don't think we do. I think we leave it just as is. We connect that up just like so. This one we will set back a little bit so I can have a line of trees right there. And we'll have this kind of come around this direction. If I connect to here, connect to here, connect to here, then we click on this guy and we move this around so that it's right along the edge like that. That's pretty decent. So that's 4 new fields, which is useful. I still need some trees. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let's then do some vegetable farming. I think I'm going to maybe grab a road and set it off right there. Set a road off here to kind of this direction. Maybe send it up the edge of this hillside. I didn't say it was a safe road, but it is a road. So now we have another connection there that connects up and over. Down here, along this section, I will place one of these. We're going to send this down. I'm going to make this one quite big, I think. It's in a really fertile spot. I'll put the trees for this along the left side of this Pacific lane. That way the lane kind of feels like it's a part of the field as well. So there's that. This one doesn't need, I think, an additional road in between. So instead, let's do this. Let's go kind of straight out here like so. Let's go straight over here and go to here. And then I'm going to use the Move It tool in post to grab this moment here, bring it up to the 90. Maybe just kind of keep it in line with that back half. Okay. I think we could then easily see where another road could go. Do something along those lines. Send this straight on up to here. And I will give this a small curve before sending it straight down. Okay. This here, we're going to go over to this other road, which we've got right here. Bam, bam. Beautiful. Maybe we'll send one road just down this way for now. And we'll extend this road out further. Okay, so we're getting this more expansive kind of look to this area. So we now have 2 farms for vegetables. If I go here and I place a 3rd, I actually want to move that. I don't necessarily want it right there. Let's go ahead and delete it. Let's place it right here. Here we go. Place it right here. All the way over to here. Down to here. And just follow most of this. And we will connect up to the road here on the front. But I want to have that land to do other things with. We'll place one more here. Similar to the others. I'll bring it close to, but not connect directly into the other field. On purpose. There we go. Now, cotton, we don't have any. So I think if I send one right down here. So that was what? 2 of those? So I could place another one right here. And maybe we place another one right here. And we do one more that maybe butts up kind of close to or next to that guy, just like this. So there's our new farmland. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fields. We have 1, 2, 3 vegetable, 1, 2, 3, 4 grain, 1, 2, 4 vegetable, 4 grain, 1, 2, 3 cotton, 4 cotton, 5 cotton. Okay. So we've got a good number of fields here. I then think Town of Sunset, they may actually be a town that does some of this livestock farming. So what I'm thinking is, what if we did this? What if I brought this down? Brought it over, brought it up, and let's just do like perfect squares here. I have a vision. Bring this over. Bring it up. I'm going to connect right into that edge there. Okay. We've now got 2 of these farms right next to each other. They're nice and large. These are not crop farming. And because they're not crop farming, I don't feel as pressed about using the little country roads. But I want to come right along the back here. Also come right along the side here. Just like that. There we go. Now, I can change this guy out because as you can see, she's not very straight there. There we go. Place another one of these right here. And I do think I want to actually have this kind of connect all the way through. So if I were to bring a line from here straight over at the 90 as best we can, what we could consider is sending a road through there over to here, connecting all of this together. We'll get rid of those little extra pieces for now. It's going to be quite angular. It's going to be quite, you know, firm in how this works, but I'm okay with that because what I want to try to do is make it look like, you know, this is just a little farming town that also supports the local industry. This will send only halfway up. In hindsight, or in the end result here, is that we're actually going to be getting a little bit more production potentially out of these services. Bam. So now we've got a lot of farming for this town of Sunset. I might add like a second little town nearby. We can do more farming there as well. We can do more farming over here for this area. But we've got all of this farming in place. Now what we're going to do is say goodbye to all of our farms over here in this part of town. Sorry, everybody. You gots to move. They probably didn't deserve such an unglamorous deletion, but, you know, it had to happen. It had to happen. Orson Farms is no more. There is a new kind of farmland here in town. Right up over here. Along the river's edge. Hawthorne Meadow. We're just going to call it Carl Meadows. And then over here, we have the town of Sunset, but right in front of the town of Sunset, right behind the town of Sunset, excuse me, I'm going to build, what's the name of that road? Elizabeth Street. We also have Elm Street, Cypress, Willow Terrace. We already have that. I think we're going to call this Elm Hatchery. Okay. So people who live here can easily work right over here. This has 3 employees, 2 employees, 1 employee, 1 employee, 1 employee, 1 employee, 2, 5, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5. Doesn't really employ a ton, but we've now pushed this kind of further out, and this may actually be the final home for some of this type of industry. We will see as we keep going. Let me go ahead and just take a few seconds here to slap down some trees in between everything we're seeing. I want to make sure we've got some nice tree coverage throughout this entire space. All right, so now we've got beautiful trees all the way around our meadows, which looks great. I did add a few just kind of groups of trees to kind of serve as orchards. It's effective. I don't know if it's perfect, but it looks pretty good. I am curious if I should add just a few more trees to some of this to kind of give it a little bit better just overall look. Let's see. If I were to do kind of like a bunch of trees, really like right here where like these trees kind of end, and there's already some trees around. Like if I just were to slap down a few more trees in that section to kind of help beef this all up, I think that already looks a little bit nicer. Maybe we grab some oaks as well. We haven't done any oaks yet, but that kind of gives us a reason for ending in the farmlands, is that there was all these trees. Nobody wanted to cut the trees down, so they just left it like that. Now we could also change the ground cover there and place a dirt texture underneath the orchard trees, but for now we'll leave it be. I'm kind of okay with that. Over here, I didn't really do anything much, or at all, really, is actually the correct answer there. But I do think I'm going to come in here and get rid of every tree in this center section that is around our train. Let's reduce this one and our power lines, because these are where our power lines run. I don't want any trees kind of in the way of those power lines. Then we're going to grab the forestry texture, forestry surface. I'm going to place the forestry surface all through this area. Just send it over here. Send it on down. I just want to fill in this area where nothing's going to grow because we've got the power lines. No one can really live over here. We may try to make some kind of like trailer park or something in the future. But for now, this is just going to be a little dirt kind of on the opposite side of the town of Sunset. Now, I don't have any transportation set up yet for any of this, which is something we're going to have to deal with later on. But for now, all around, this looks pretty decent. And if I click on Carl Meadows, it has a total of 90 employees. Elm Hatchery has 30 employees. It's pretty good. I will say, too, just like give this a look. That looks really nice. Really nice. I mean, come on, that's the thumbnail. Right there is the thumbnail, people. Function F12. Get that screenshot. All right, now we've got some of this industry in here. The last thing I want to accomplish is I do just want to build this out a little bit more. We've got relatively flat land over here, and so there's no reason for us not to lean into that and make sure that we are getting as much industry in here as we can and using this space right. This could frankly just go straight down to there. I'm not going to do that, though. Am I? I'm not. We'll go right to here. I'm then going to place another road here. I'll place another road right here along this setup as well. Gives us a few roads there. I recognize I'm not doing great connections with these roads so that they're not actually touching each other too well. I don't mind all that much. I think it's kind of interesting and unique for this section of our map. So I'm going to lean into this. Maybe we'll do one more road right here, kind of along this edge. I won't obviously zone along the cliff face. But now that we have all those there, let's go ahead and just fill in some industry zoning in key places. And we just unlocked an oil refinery, which is very exciting. Let's do a little bit more over here. I think we're going to do all of this along this road. We'll let that all fill in. We'll see what happens. We'll see how she looks. It might take some time, but we'll let that fill in. It's going to destroy any demand we have there for industry. Our oil refinery, which is a new piece we just unlocked, +2 industrial efficiency citywide, +5% interest in university education citywide, +1% university graduation chance citywide, medium ground, medium air, high noise, oil that once just used to uselessly lie underground is fashioned into many different substances in this very refinery. Now, it's probably quite a large building. Much bigger than what we have over there. I'm wondering if we consider building out another industrial area as a part of our expansion here of Orson Farms. And in that expansion, we place down an oil refinery in that area. We could also consider like finding a way to put the oil refinery down here, but I'd rather place it over there. I think we have a chemical plant down here, and we have a fuel plant over by the highway. We just built SwitchCon. We need one medical university, and we'll have pharma. And we just need a few more forestry areas to make paper. Vehicle factory, what else we need? A few more oil drilling. I mean, we could reach all of these milestones here soon enough. So we'll think about the oil refinery in our next part. For now, we're going to leave that be. But I will say, I think this is a much better use of this space. I think it's looking nice. We can begin to add some smaller towns out this way that will then all connect and culminate over here in Orson. I'm going to leave the road network as is for the moment. This all very well might change, but at the moment, we're going to let it be and not mess with it. I will also consider Brightwater Locomotive. What's our pollution look like right here? Not much air pollution. Very, very little ground pollution. And not much noise pollution. So what I think is going to happen here is I think we're going to make a change to this district. Let's start to cut this back where we can. Sometimes, these get finicky. You got to be slow and methodical. We'll leave the key right here. It'll kind of sever right there at the top. all of this surrounding area will be considered Brightwater Locomotive. I will say I think this could go there. And we just have Brightwater kind of come up and dead end here along this highway. Just like so. Make that a little bit easier for me. We'll move this guy up to here. Have this lean on this highway here. Connect right on down and in. Just like so. But now we've unlocked this new parcel of land. Now, I don't know what's going to go here yet. We're not going to build it today. But we do have a new parcel of land we can use. Briarwood Way. What if we just named it? Let's name it, if that's Northfield, this really wouldn't be Southfield. I guess if I'm considering this to be like north, south, east, west. It used to be Brightwater Locomotive. What if we just call this Brightwater? There's Brightwater and Brightwater Locomotive. It's a small little town right here, little area. It's not a town just yet, but it may be. We could also consider changing this road. We can downgrade this from an avenue into a much more simple road there. Kind of de-zone some of that. I think this could be a really interesting place to build some more residential. Maybe some more office. I don't know. It has very, very little pollution in it, which is kind of surprising. So once that disappears, we'll be golden. I think, though, that might be where we end all of this. We've got everything accomplished I was hoping for. Let's just get a little check here. 42 employees. Now we're at 117 over here in Carl Meadows. I do think we're going to want to select some operating districts here. You're going to need Elm Hatchery and Carl Meadows to operate. You're also going to need Elm Hatchery and Carl Meadows. And I guess we'll also apply this for our medical clinic. But that looks pretty good. The only other thing I would consider is having a bus stop right here in the center. Right here. And this bus, on its way out of town, is going to drive over here real quick, drop people off, come back over here, and then drop people off there. Is the bus set up here perfect? No, not by any means. But it will do. It will do. We also have some infrastructure we can expand into next time. We may consider building out some residential along this route. Air pollution along this corridor is fine. So is ground pollution. So this could be somewhat of an extension here of the town of Sunset. We'll see. In terms of usage, we've got 8 passengers waiting. This bus line 116, 123, already 22 right there. So this is starting to get some decent usage, but I think this looks pretty nice. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lorelai, follow your dad out. I can't have your tippy taps. I can't edit them out.